fishing. Nothing quite like it, is there? Just sitting on the bank with your bamboo cane with a bit of string attached and a bent paper clip. Maybe with a bit of bread as bait or sweet corn. There you are, just watching the world go by. Nothing quite like it. And you say, oh my giddy aunt, what on earth is that? Ahoy there! And you realise it's a bit of pink toilet paper attached to something you did not want to see. So you think to yourself, oh, I know, I've had enough of this. I'm going to get my own fishing lake. Knowing full well you won't be able to buy one in the UK because they'll be too flippin' expensive. Ain't much to choose from either. So you think to yourself, oh, I know, I'm going to ask Marcus, and Marcus says that's me. Why don't you get yourself a fishing lake here in France? Yeah, oh, that's a good idea. I'll do just that. So what do? You get online and you find yourself, oh, that's wonderful, a fishing lake with a little chalet. Oh, perfect. Knowing full well that you can't live there full time. No, but you can just stay there 90 in every 180 days and do a spot of fishing. Maybe with your offspring, grandchild, or nephew, or whoever. It's on your own. Wonderful idea, wouldn't you say? I'd say, ooh, hold fire, and do your research first. Is it a lake? Or is it a pool? Is it a pond? Well, if it's under 1,000 square metres, no worries. No worries at all. Not much more than a paddling pool. Don't worry about that. But if it's over 1,000 square metres, it will be classed as a pond. And then you're going to have to go through a process when you're buying your lake. The problem is, here in France, and especially here in the Limousin, where they call it the land of 1,000 lakes, because there's lakes flipping everywhere. There's one just over there. There, I've got another one over there. And there's like 3 more over there, land of 1,000 lakes. The problem is, many of them lakes aren't illegal. No. Somebody's just dammed the stream and created their own lake, usually for, holding water back so they can actually provide drinking water to the cattle. So they used to do it, you see, years ago. They end up being like little, birds drop the watsits and stuff, little mini baby fish. Or eggs or lava, or whatever it might be. And it ends up being, a stocked lake. That's fish in it. Yeah, carp and all sorts of stuff they could be there. And pike. Well, you're going to have to think for yourself and make a decision. Is it really right for you? Do you really want the aggro attached with this lake? Now, a friend of mine, actually 2 friends of mine, who actually own lakes, not far from here. Actually, one of them was just literally not next to the other lake I was talking about. Anyway, one of them had problems, massive problems, when they bought the property. Similar scenario, there's 2 little lakes attached to each other, like a little sluice between them, dam in the middle. And the problem they had was, when they bought it, there was rules, things they had to do to make the lake comply. And they left it. They did a little bit, then they left it and left it and left it in a little bit. And while they're in the UK, they didn't know it went to court. They got caught out. Big fines. Yeah. So when they got back to the UK, they got all these bailiffs said, who's here? Let us here in France. And they realised, I need to do something about this. So, they went to the police to see what they could do, the gendarmes, and they said, you need to go see the court. They did. Okay, they kind of got let off, but not with the fines. They still got fined. It could have been a lot worse. Fact matters, they just went there to receive the mail. So that's something you've got to think about, forwarding your mail. If you're not living there for full time. Well, if it's over 1,000 metres, square metres that is, it will be considered as a body of water. Now, they're complex works. They are. It's not just about this body of water. It's not just a body of water and just let it do its thing naturally. There's things you've got to do. You've got to ask yourself, what is the condition of the sluice? Where the water leaves the actual lake itself. Do you need to build a new one? Because quite often they're rotten. Because they have iron bits in it, you see. Is it taking water from the top of the lake? Or from the bottom of the lake? You've got to bear that in mind as well. You mustn't take the warm water off the top, you see, because that water will be going downstream to a lake further down and could cause environmental issues down there. So you've got to think about that. So you might have to put a siphon in. So the water's been taken from the bottom of the lake. Or just above the bottom, Something else you've got to think about. You also got to think about where the water's been fed from. These are all considerations you're going to watch out for. Now, is the lake being created with a dam? Do you have a dam holding back the water? It could be just a big grassed over mound. Is there trees on it? If there is, you're going to have to chop them all down. Can't have trees on the bank, on the dam of the lake, you see. Get a big wind, they can undermine the actual dam, and all of a sudden you've got a rush of water going downstream, flooding lakes down, but you're responsible for that, you see. You make sure you're insured for it, just in case you cause problems to the environment further down the stream, or to another lake. Not allowed to flood other people's land, you see. It's not a great idea, is it? No, I'm sure you'll get some complaints. Now, when you first buy your property, you're going to go through a no-tear. Now, if it's got attached land, what have you, over 1,700 square metres, well then it's going to go through SAFA. If it's got any agricultural land there. Any land or plots of land over 17 goes to SAFA. And then it goes to the farmers that can say, whether or not they want to buy it. At the same price you've got to pay, so the likelihood is they won't buy it. Very rare that they do. Now, the administration for this is actually quite extensive. You're going to have to get surveys done, or they will do the surveys on your behalf, or on behalf of the seller. So there's going to be surveys to say whether or not there's access all the way around. If there isn't, you're going to have to make sure it is. They'll all be into your agreement when you purchase the property. Whether or not the dam's in good condition, the sluice gets in good condition, the siphon's in good condition, whether the vegetation around there is not overgrown and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You've got to cut all it back. You've got access, you see, all the way around. Ideally, vehicular access all the way around. In case of emergencies, you see. Is there any invasive species you need to get rid of? That's all your responsibility. Has got to be done. Such primrose willow, for instance, which is very invasive. The Civil Code also specifies that properties downstream, off the start, they mustn't be drained, and also, but that's not your responsibility anyway, because it's downstream, it's not going to be your property, is it? But also you mustn't flood it, like I said. Now, Environmental Code adds, get right my head there, that the following must be respected. Now, the outlet structure from the watercourse with the sluice on and stuff, the outlet. So you've got the inlet and the outlet, because normally most of these lakes are fed by a stream, you see, or by a river, or a diverted water, or whatever. It's unlikely it's just going to be groundwater. That's very unlikely. It'll be way down there. Be like a well. So you've got to ask yourself, is there enough outlet for the volume of water? It's got to be 10% of the average flow of the watercourse. You have to make sure you've got all specialists involved. This is all money, you see. It's not like I'm going to buy myself a lake. Unless it's all tickety-boo, the likelihood is it won't be, though. Because most lakes here in France have been owned in a family for donkey's years and just get passed on, and they don't get sorted. It just, there's one literally in the corner up here. It's completely overgrown. It's very natural. That it is. Very natural indeed. And it used to be a water mill years ago, but now the mill's all gone. It's just footings, rocks to the ground, and it's in hell of a state. So you can see what I mean. That there's lots you have to do. You also have to think to hang on. If I'm only going 90 every 180 days, am I going to be able to drain it on a regular basis? Because you've got to do that as well. 2 to 5 years. It's got to be done regularly, depending on the conditions and the environment and stuff like that. You also got to notify when you're doing it. You've got to make a notification to the local authority. That's what you're doing. The local environment agency. So you've got to do all this stuff. And if you're only there 90 every 180 days, can you do that? Because you don't just drain it. Have a quick look about it, and that'll do. You drain it for a bit, and you used to segregate your fish and what have you, or put them into a reserve pond. Actually, my friend up here, not the one with the 2 lakes, just over up here, he's a joiner as well, actually. Joiner. And he's actually digging another pond next to his lake. So you've got somewhere to put the fish in his lake. He's got a lot of carp, but not fish in that lake. Probably coiper at the moment as well, but that's another story. Keep making holes in his dam. That's something else you can worry about. Is your dam going to drain because some wild creature's going to make holes in it in the dam? And they eat all the vegetation. They eat all the. Is it the reeds they eat or the lilies? Anyway, they eat the stuff. So at times, obviously, buying this flipping lake, you're going to have all this paperwork sorted out, and then you'll all be written into notaires, and there'll be a certain period of time you're going to have to get all this stuff sorted out if it needs to be done. You might be lucky, and it might not be the case. But just bear that in mind if you are considering buying a lake. These are all things you need to think about. It's not just, oh, I like the idea of this. I'm going to buy myself a lake. I just got some money from my late mother and what have you. Just sold her house and what have you. I'll go buy myself a lake in France so I can escape. Which is a lovely idea. And don't get me wrong, they do grow, increase in value. And you could argue, if I get one that isn't, well, then you can knock the price right down and you can make some money on it if you wanted to. But don't forget that you'll have to put the work in. Nothing is easy and nothing is cheap. And it all has to be done correctly. There's no getting around that. You're going to have to make sure that the sluice gates and all that sort of stuff, and all siphon pumps, it's not pumps, so the siphon, I call it a pump, but it's actually naturally flows the water, like it does when it's siphoning in the toilet kind of thing. But you got to make sure all the stuff is tickety-boo and official and it's all ticked off so they can get the whole thing signed off. And then when you are seller, you won't have any problems at all. You'll be fine, So just bear that in mind. And if you're chalet, there's a chalet on there as well. Also ask yourself about the FOSS septic. Where is the wastewater going? Is it going into a ditch, or is it going into a FOSS, which is basically a septic tank? There might be something else you have to consider. So it's not just about your poop. No, it's about your grey water as well. So anyway, I thought that might be of interest to you. I hope so. Maybe or maybe not. But it's a nice idea to be able to buy a property over here with an attached lake, but also it can be a bit of a nightmare as well. Because there are stuff that you've got to do on a regular basis. You've got to maintain it. And if you're only there 90 every 180 days, are you in a position to maintain it and keep all that vegetation cut back? Because it can quickly become overgrown. And if you don't keep on top of it, you will be fined. They'll warn you. And if you don't do it straight away, you might not know about the warning. That's the problem. So you've got to make sure you're obviously diverting your mail. They'll warn you, but then they'll fine you. So it's kind of how it is. So just bear that in mind if you are going to purchase a piece of land with a lake on it, or just a lake. But imagine there'd be a bit of land attached, even if it's under the water. So have I got anything? Ooh, end of pipe fish condition. I've got to think about that as well. What else is there? I think I done it. Yeah. A lot of this came in. Remember, right, in 1992, a lot of changes were made. New legislation was brought in because all these lakes were popping up everywhere, and there's problems with maintaining the condition of the water downstream because they just left. They were just left. But now it's got quite tough. So there is stuff you need to do, and the best thing to do is speak to your notaire and make sure that you're fully aware before you finally sign off the paperwork. Yeah, be careful. Anyway, I hope it was interesting. If you want to support the channel, just beat the old like button, helps the channel, and maybe you want a Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the link's down below. We've also got memberships as well. Anyway, I'm waffling now. I better go. Ta-ta.